Hey guys, and welcome back to part 2 of getting started on Krita. So in this one I'm just going to go over the tools that I didn't go over in the first one. But before you start experimenting with these, just get yourself familiar with the first ones and then come over to here. Okay, so the first tool that I'm going to go over is called the selection tool. You might know it, or you might have had people calling it the marching ants tool. But basically what it does is whatever you select, it will only draw in that section that you've selected. So that's really useful if you're trying to get something precise, or you're trying to color something in, or you've already got the shape ready, stuff like that. It's really useful. But if you've noticed, if you're drawing something and then you draw something else, another selection, the first selection will go away. So what you need to do is you need to go to tool options, right? So that's next to the advanced color selector. So on there are 4 little boxes. So if you click on the second one, what happens is it's called intersect. So whatever you draw, that will remain from the original selection, if that makes sense. The second one is called addition. So whatever you draw, it will just add on to what you've drawn before. So that's really useful if you're trying to select something really big and you need a few brush strokes. Then it's called subtract. What basically subtract does is it just takes away from the selection you already have. Those are the few tools with selection. As you can see next to the selection tool, the one I've got is the freehand one. You've got the circle one, you've got the square one, and you've got the oblong one. And so when you want to get rid of the selection, you need to go onto the top where it says select, go down and then press deselect. That will get rid of all the selection. And the next one I'm going to show you is the color selector tool. So let's say you've already got a drawing and you've got certain colors, but you only want to draw in that certain color and you haven't got on a different layer. So what you do is you go on that one and then you click on the color that you want to select, and the marching ants will just go over that specific color, if that makes sense. And that's really useful. So talking about the color selector, you have the normal color selector, which if you're already drawing and you want to select the color that's already on the canvas, you just click on that color and then you go back on the paint tool and then you can color. A shortcut for the keyboard shortcut is control. So if you just press control, you'll get the color selector, you can select it, and then when you unpress it, you'll just go back to whatever tool you were using before. And this is useful if you've got a gradient and you've got a color between and you want to get that color. So you can just pick that color between and then you'll just get that color on the paintbrush. So the next tool that I'm going to show you is the mirror tool, and this is really useful if you're drawing something that's symmetrical. You're drawing a vase, you have the vertical one and you have the horizontal one, which is just the same as the vertical, it's got the other way, and you just have to click it, and if it's blue that means it's on, if not then you just unclick it and you can move it around using that little circle thing. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is how to lock the layer. So it's kind of like selection, but you're locking a whole layer, so you can only draw on that layer. So you have that little checkerboard and you click it and then you get a little padlock on it. So you have it next to the layer and you also have it on the top, so you can click whichever one. You just click it, and then as you can see I've changed the color and it will only go on that place where you've already put the brush stroke. But also if the color that you've put down isn't completely opaque, so whatever you put on top isn't going to be completely opaque either. But if you've got several layers and you want everything just to go in that selection of the first layer, go on to group layer, which is you next to the plus one, you have a little tiny triangle, you click on that, you go to the group, add group layer, and then you just add the plus again, just a normal plus, and then you'll get another layer underneath, so in that group. So what you do is you draw something on the first layer and then you have another layer on top or something else. As you can see, if you just do it like that, it just draw on top. But if you click that little A, you click it and you get a little line through it, which means it's on alpha lock, which means whatever you draw on that layer will only go on what the layer underneath has already drawn on. And it's the same thing, if the color underneath or the layer underneath has something that's not completely opaque or transparent, whatever you put on top will be transparent as well. Does that make sense? I think I'm going to leave it right there because you're getting to know a few more tools, but it's not too much that it's overwhelming. So just go and play around with those tools, get yourself familiar with those, and then I'll show you some more next time. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.